All right. Good morning, good day, good evening. This is your Max Mindset coming to you with week three round hill weekly pairs. This is the distribution announcement. All right, let's get to it. All right. We also have other funds and other websites that you can visit for other ETFs that you might be interested in. For instance, Rex Shares defines ETFs, Neo Funds, Curve Invest, RoundHill Investments, Granite Shares, Pro Shares, YieldMax ETFs, and Bitwise. All right. So these prices are going to vary each week and each month. If you should happen to own some of the above ETFs, here's a roundabout payout you should receive. Below is what you should get paid out for owning the number of shares multiplied by the price per share. All right. First up is AAPW. Closed yesterday at 41.05. Previously closed at 42.52. Previously paid out 24 cents. Currently paying out 29 cents. So had you invested $2,126 into this position, that would have gotten you 50 shares, and 50 shares would have gotten you $14.26. Next, we have AMDW. Closed yesterday at $52.01. Previously closed at 66.40. All right, previously paid out 56 cents, currently paying out 98 cents. So, had you invested $6,640 into this position, why, that would have gotten you 100 shares, and 100 shares would have gotten you a payment of $97.67. Next, we have ARMW. Closed yesterday at 36.75. Previously closed at 39.60. And previously paid out 35 cents. Currently paying out 35 cents. Okay. So had you invested $19,800 into this position, it would have gotten you 500 shares. 500 shares would have gotten you a payment of $172.38. Next, we have AMZW. Closed yesterday at 41.36. Previously closed at 46.45. Previously paid out 40 cents. Currently paying out 30 cents. So had you invested 46,450 into this position, that would have gotten you 1,000 shares, and 1,000 shares would have gotten you a payment of $298.86. Next, we have AVGW. Closed yesterday at 51.35. Previously closed at 50.63. Previously paid out 49 cents. Currently paying out 54 cents. So, had you invested $101,260 into this position, it would have gotten you 2,000 shares, and 2,000 shares would have gotten you a payment of $1,076.24. Next, we have BABW. Closed yesterday at 44.02. Previously closed at 46.56. Previously paid out 46 cents. Currently paying out 31 cents. All right. So had you invested $232,800 into this position, that would have gotten you 5,000 shares, and 5,000 shares would have gotten you a payment of $1,540. Next, we have BRKW. Closed yesterday at 45.67. Previously closed at 47.18. Previously paid out 19 cents. Currently paying out 20 cents. All right. So had you invested $2,359 into this position, that would have gotten you 50 shares, and 50 shares would have gotten you a payment of $9.79. Next, we have COIW. Closed yesterday at 22.99. Previously closed at 28.75. Previously paid out 33 cents. Currently paying out 33 cents. All right. So, had you invested $2,875 into this position, that would have gotten you 100 shares, and 100 shares would have gotten you a payment of $33 and looks like 6 cents. All right. Next, we got COSW. Closed yesterday at 45.93. Previously closed at 48.28. Previously paid out 31 cents. Currently paying out 28 cents. So, had you invested $4,828 into this position, that would have gotten you 100 shares. 100 shares would have gotten you a payment of $28.24. Next, we have one of the newer positions. GDXW closed yesterday at $50.75. Previously paid out previously closed at 54.56 and previously paid out 48 cents. All right. Currently paying out 60 cents. All right. So had you invested $27,280 into this position, that would have gotten you 500 shares, and 500 shares would have gotten you a payment of $299.72. Next, we have another new position. GLDW closed yesterday at 51.60, previously closed at 53.23, previously paid out 22 cents, currently paying out 29 cents. All right, so had you invested $26,615 into this position, that would have gotten you 500 shares, and 500 shares would have gotten you a payment of $144.58. Next, we have GOOW, closed yesterday at 68.38, previously closed at 65.62, previously paid out 55 cents, currently paying out 53 cents. All right. So, had you invested $65,620 into this position, that would have gotten you 1,000 shares, and 1,000 shares would have gotten you a payment of $530.50. All right. Next, we have HOOW. Closed yesterday at 48.80, previously closed at 58.23, and previously paid out 70 cents, currently paying out 79 cents. Okay. All right. So, had you invested $58,230 into this position, that would have gotten you 1,000 shares, and 1,000 shares would have gotten you a payment of $786.98. Next, we have METW, closed yesterday at 32.94, previously closed at 34.54. All right. Previously paid out 24 cents, currently paying out 28 cents. All right. So, had you invested $34,540 into this position, that would have gotten you 1,000 shares, and 1,000 shares would have gotten you a payment of $275.47. Next, we have MSFW, closed yesterday at 40.31, previously closed at 43.16, previously paid out 18 cents, currently paying out 30 cents. All right. So, let's see here. Had you invested $43,160 into this position, that would have gotten you 1,000 shares, and 1,000 shares would have gotten you a payment of $302.20. Next, we have MSTW, closed yesterday at 13.16, previously closed at 16.28, previously paid out 23 cents, currently paying out 15 cents. All right. So, had you invested $162,800 into this position, that would have gotten you 10,000 shares, and 10,000 shares would have gotten you a payment of $1,474.26. Next, we have NFLW, closed yesterday at 33.27, previously closed at 37.31, previously paid out 26 cents, currently paying out 30 cents. So, had you invested $3,731 into this position, that would have gotten you 100 shares. 100 shares would have gotten you a payment of $30.36. Next, we have NVDW, closed yesterday at 42.92. Previously, let's get back here. Leave this where we were. NVDW closed yesterday at 42.92. Previously closed at 45.21. Previously paid out 34 cents. All right, so had you invested $4,521 into that position, that would have gotten you 100 shares. 100 shares would have gotten you a payment of $51.76. Next, we got PLTW, closed yesterday at 34.97, previously closed at 39.84, previously paid out 34 cents, currently paying out 52 cents. So, had you invested $19,920 into this position, that would have gotten you 500 shares, and 500 shares would have gotten you a payment of $259.89. Next, we got TSLW, closed yesterday at 30.99, previously closed at 31.97, previously paid out 37 cents, currently paying out 32 cents. All right. Next, we got a new position, TSYW, closed yesterday at 49.20, closed yesterday at 49.46, Previously closed at $49.20. All right. So had you invested $24,600 into this position, that would have gotten you 500 shares. 500 shares would have gotten you a payment of $61.99. Next, we have UBEW of RoundHill. Closed yesterday at 42.85. Previously closed at 48.29. Previously paid 30 cents, and currently paying 41 cents. Yes. All right. So had you invested $241,450 into this position, that would have gotten you 5,000 shares, and 5,000 shares would have gotten you a payment of $2,059. Next, we have WayPay. Closed yesterday. Closed yesterday at 44.20. Previously closed at 51.68. Previously paid out 57 cents. Currently paying out 40 cents. All right, next we got Maggie of RoundHill. Closed yesterday at 53.27. Previously closed at 54.83. Previously paid out 39 cents. Currently paying out 37 cents. All right. All right, so this is YieldMax Mindset saying thank you for dropping by, viewing the content. Hope this is informative information that you can use in your investment decision. Let's continue to get these dividends and create that passive income. This is YieldMax Mindset saying thank you, and I am out.